Sensational stuff, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. Welcome back to Football Therapy. Maurizio Pochettino has turned to the ideas of, signing more players. Interesting. He stayed quiet for a long time, but after Chelsea lose, he's decided, after spending £1 billion, Chelsea need to spend more. Wow, incredible demands from the Chelsea manager. We are going to reflect on these reports in today's video. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting the content. I do appreciate everyone in the football therapy community. Mad love. You're welcome to subscribe if you haven't done so. Thank you for liking. And Chelsea might be offering you pain right now, but it's the holidays. And because it's the holidays, there's promotional offers. It's a dangerous digital world out there, ladies and gentlemen, but fortunately, my partner and sponsor, Surfshark, have got your back. In the digital age, we all spend so much time on the internet, you leave yourself vulnerable, so you really do need a VPN, virtual private network, to protect you, as well as granting you access to other things on the internet. A VPN, Surfshark, works by moving your internet's location digitally to another place, offering you that buffer and security that stops digital pirates and people trying to steal your identity from being able to find you. Surfshark's got your back in protecting you. Have you ever felt boxed in on the internet, not being able to watch certain pieces of media because you live in a certain country? Of course, because Surfshark allows you to move your location. Suddenly you can choose where you want to go, where you want your internet to be represented, and you can unlock said pieces of content. If you know me, ladies and gentlemen, I do this on Netflix all the time. As an avid Netflix watcher, I often exhaust the UK library, and this light, simple to use application in Surfshark allows me to move over to the USA library in literally a couple of seconds, and suddenly my Netflix subscription is worth so much more. Thanks, Surfshark, really getting a bang for my buck now. And speaking of a bang for my buck, Surfshark are now doing a holiday deal. So when you enter my promo code FOOTBALL or click the link in the top of the description, you can get up to 6 months free. That's right, up to 6 months free with my code FOOTBALL or by simply clicking in the link in the top of the description. So now you can go and utilize all those wonderful things I've been speaking about on Surfshark for a fantastic deal. Go click it, enjoy yourselves, and happy holidays. Ladies and gentlemen, do go check out Surfshark now. Alright then, Chelsea of course coming off another loss, people talking about Chelsea all over the gaff, all around football media, and rightly so. Everton, who are playing like a team, digging in for their lives after their point deduction, just looking like a unit, looking like a football club, an entity. Chelsea, who have seemingly just lost their foundations, don't really know who they are, what they are anymore. The culture is dissolving away, and a bunch of, talented young players don't really feel, I think, don't feel secure in the project. Pochettino, for the first time, lately he's been shaking a little bit. He came out after Newcastle, and for the first time this season criticised his team. Of course, we got a win between Brighton, in between United and Newcastle against Brighton, but also Man United was a dismal performance, the worst I can remember for a long time. And then this, and of course, people are very frustrated, confused, and upset with many of Pochettino's comments post-match. A lot of people are done with the manager, by the way. I'm not in that position, and it is apparent that, like we all speculated it would be, he's got the full support for now of the Chelsea ownership, but people are upset with him. I think his words have done him problems. I didn't like what he said before the Tottenham match. I know we ended up beating them 4-1 and it was all happy endings, but that's by the by. And coming out now and saying against Everton we were better than Everton is nonsense. And I think in response to that, Dyche was very graceful and magnanimous when he's like, yeah, look, if you can have possession and control the game, but you got to find a way to win games, and we've been doing that. Yeah, bro. And also, we're Chelsea fans. We're not we don't have this sense of entitlement that we need to play tiki-taka football. Our greats never did that. Our Titans, we had times when we scored goals. Ancelotti's Chelsea scored a lot of goals, won the title, which was great. But we Chelsea upset the apple cart. We ruined the party. That was what we did. Both our Champions Leagues, we did that. I mean, come on. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair, of course, because when we won the Champions League under Tuchel, and I want this to not be forgotten. We massively deserve that because people talked about, oh, Chelsea blagged their way, to the final and, got that lucky Kai Havertz goal. It's an absolute nonsense. The teams we had to beat, the La Liga champions, Atletico Madrid, the holders, Real Madrid, that Porto knocked out Juventus, and then Man City, the Premier League champions, and we beat every single team on XG. Sorry, I just want to get that out there because I saw some people moaning about that Champions League win recently. But generally, of course, when we won it under Di Matteo, it was a little bit against all odds, and it was about heart, passion, belief, teamwork, brotherhood, war. All the things we don't have now. Now we're like, theoretically, positively, ideally, it's like a thought experiment. We've gone from this raw blood and thunder dying for each other, under Mourinho and Conte and Tuchel for a time. And no, I don't think we should go back to previous managers. But we've gone from that to, talented young South American kid, academy player playing out of position, but theoretically could be all right there. A striker two strikers that may or may not be good one day. Anyway, it brings us to what we're going to speak about today. Pochettino has basically, on several media platforms, has demanded Chelsea investigate the transfer market. So we're going to read an article from Nizar Kinsella of the Evening Standard now and go from there. Pochettino set for Chelsea transfer talks as 3 priorities identified. More spending looms at Stamford Bridge in January as struggling boss. And he is a struggling boss now. We're 12th place. 12th place! How are we meant to be the best team in London when we are the 3rd worst team in West London? Citing a post from my Instagram there. Brentford and Fulham are above us. Fulham, by the way, little brothers Fulham, have won their last 2 games 10-0 on aggregate. 5 goals in each game. Must be nice. Must be nice. Willian, absolutely cooking. Like, his spiritual home is Fulham. Because he went to Arsenal, was awful, scored 1 goal all season for Mikel Arteta and, had to leave. He went to Brazil. Apparently he flopped massively back in the Brazilian league. And then somehow he just bowls up at Fulham again. Wow, how he gets a Premier League gig after those 2 previous clubs, I don't know. But he's cooking. What a great signing Willian's been for Fulham. Clearly it's his spiritual home. As long as he's in Southwest London, he can play great football. Of course, Chelsea wanted to sign him on a 1+1 deal. He wanted 3 years and then ended up going, of course. He was great for us in Lampard's his final season under Lampard. Of course, we went on to win the Champions League next season, so Willian's probably frustrated about that. I don't know why I'm talking about Willian. I've got PTSD. I used to be frustrated at this guy over and over and over, and now I'd do anything for a Willian. Just some sort of calm head in the Chelsea attack that just doesn't, refuses to just descend into fear, madness, confusion, and paranoia, and all the other negative emotions that the Chelsea forwards get into. And that's not a slight on, Mudryk and gang. They're just kids. Let's actually read this article. Pochettino is set for talks with Chelsea Chiefs. The Chelsea Chiefs about their January, that will be our name in the future, about their January plans after he suggested the club need to get the checkbook out again in the transfer market. Sorry, Pochettino, what do you need? Not my fault. We need transfers. The Blues' miserable season continued with a 2-0 defeat by Everton at Goodison Park on Sunday. Let's relive that a little bit. Delicious. Pochettino has made it clear that he is not happy with the level of his squad, despite the club spending over £1 billion on new players under Todd Boehly and Clear Lake Capital. Pause. I do want to recognise, it would be maybe remiss of me not to mention, that I don't think any of these signings are Pochettino signings. For whatever that, I guess that does count for some things. But then again, he can't moan because he himself has said this on multiple occasions. He knew exactly what he was signing up for. Remember, he had this, quote, exhaustive interview process that went on for months. The sporting directors sat down with Pochettino and told them their long-term business plan and the kind of players/assets they were bringing in, Project 2030. etc., etc. And they sort of said, look, you're going to have loads of young, talented players to look at. Hopefully you can do something with them. That was the vibe. Fast forward a few months, turns out, you can't do anything with him. So there is a little bit of sympathy against Pochettino there. And of course, originally it was Todd Boehly as an interim sporting director, and then he sort of stepped back and he's gone to more American business stuff, which we spoke about recently. Now we've got co-sporting directors, but looks like Pochettino, as it's been reported for the last few weeks now, he wants control over transfers because he knows what he wants. Man, this will be his... I know we're only a few months in, but it almost feels like last chance saloon to give him that kind of control. But then again, if you give him a selection of players, then you've got to give him a chance. Pochettino said the first 4 months of the season have been, quote, a reality check. Indeed. That requires Chelsea to, quote, do something to meet the expectations of the club. Chelsea will be thinking, bro, we spent $1 billion big ones. What else do you want us to do? We've got the footballing hierarchy. We've spent the money. But yeah, God, it remains to be seen how Pochettino's comments will go down with the Stamford Bridge hierarchy. And it's so 4 months into his reign, and there could be friction already. It's just chicken orient or tilde. But it's his job. But his job is not thought to be under immediate threat. There you go. Despite Chelsea, here's that word. Here's our favourite word that prefixes our place constantly. Despite Chelsea languishing in 12th place in the Premier League after an underwhelming campaign so far. Pochettino will hold talks with co-sporting directors Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart and potentially owners Boehly and Badad Eghbali about January transfer plans. Sorry for swearing, but my giddy aunt. The Argentine on Sunday identified a lack of aggression and a lack of goals. Oh, yeah, I can tell you that. Hold on. Have I got a job in football management? Because I identified that quote, key problem, lack of goals. Does that mean I automatically get like a couple of badges, well, not like coaching badges? So that needs to be addressed, and it's understood he wants to... Okay, here's the sweet spot, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your friggin' headline. He wants to target a defender, a central midfielder, and unsurprisingly, a striker. So let's just break that down. I guess as a defender, we've spoken about this before. Thiago Silva's on his way out, and Chalobah's going to be sold. So you sort of get rid of two, you bring in one. But even then, you've got, on the right, you've got Disasi and Fofana. And on the left, you've got Colwill and Badiashile. 4 go into 2 quite nicely. Unless, like, you know, he just really doesn't see Colwill as a centre-back. Then he brings in another left-footed centre-back. But apparently he wants height. He wants height and aggression. He believes the squad is imbalanced with a lack of height, with the Blues having the second smallest squad in the Premier League. Well, I didn't know that. So yeah, that is, I mean, I was about to laugh at that about the lack of height, because that's so Chelsea, you know, like Mbappe coming for a trial at Cobham, we send him away because he's too short. And the amount of players we've done that to, I know that's children and this is adults, but blaming Pep Guardiola's sides, I know his new sides are quite tall, especially with 4 centre-backs along the back. But, you know, you don't need... I don't know, I suppose it is also quite Chelsea to have big boys, isn't it? You think of like Lampard, Ballack, Drogba, Matic, Ivanovic, like we've had lots of big boys, do you know what I mean? And we don't really have that at the moment. So I kind of get that. So the centre-back, maybe he just wants a big lump. He wants like another like, I don't know, because Thiago Silva isn't massive. I suppose Colwill isn't massive. Disasi is big. The Monaco lads are big, Disasi and Benoit Badiashile. Fofana isn't that big, but I freaking love Fofana. I think he's just an amazingly talented footballing central defender. As you know, super fan over here. Striker, fine. The striker kind of speaks for itself. Regardless, we had high hopes for both Breuer and Jackson. We had high hopes for both. In respect, they're different how they play. They're both 22 years old. They're both of, you know, one's coming from another league, one's coming off a massive injury. You know, they may both still come good, but it's tough to say. And, you know, you had friggin' Pochettino, by the way, coming out saying, you know, Jackson could be one of the best strikers in the world. I know that's just usually a tactic to say that, but we get the striker. But midfielder? Really? Let's go for it. We got the 220 million boys in Caicedo and Fernandes. We got potentially the player of the season for us, which, he definitely can't be catching heat at the moment, Conor Gallagher. We got a £60 million player in Romeo Lavia. We got, granted, a CDM that may just got unknown, Leslie Ugochukwu. And, other like Santos, Casades, these other players. So, what midfielder does he want? Like, does he want like because surely, in theory, like all our midfielders have the talent, but maybe he just wants like a 30-year-old midfielder. Maybe it's literally just an experience. Maybe he wants, when he had a Dembele in the Tottenham midfield. Maybe he just wants because we are just surrounded by children, aren't we? Like, maybe he signs, he says to the guys, look, Project 2030, all under 25, great, but give me 30 million quid to sign this guy from the Portuguese league who's 29 years old. I don't know, I'm pulling out of my behind, but do you know what I mean? Maybe he wants just some sort of senior player to be like, look, can we just have an adult in the middle of the pitch, please? Maybe. Chelsea have signed 12 players at a cost of almost £400 million in the summer, but have managed just 5 wins from their first 16 league games. After another disjointed display on Sunday, Pochettino said, quote, "After 4 or 5 months and 16 Premier League games, it's time to assess. If we are not capable today, with all the chances that we've had, we need to score if we want to be in a different position on the table. If we are not aggressive enough, maybe we need to do something, some movement. That is something to analyse with the sporting directors and the owners and see if we can change this dynamic and change in the second part of the season." I wonder if he knows that there's money to be spent and he didn't want to talk about it before because it's unsavoury and unbecoming, and he's a coach of players and he's got talented players. But now he's like, hot damn! Give me that money. Expectation was massive for Chelsea, and I posted this on a short and on my social media doing a Snapchat filter because he just came out with sort of nonsense. For Chelsea, the expectation is always to win the Premier League, but after this is the reality. Sometimes it's good. A reality check. We need to fight. Mid-table is our reality now. Ah! Sometimes it's good. Hey guys, look. Let me translate that. Look, I know it's not his first language, and I know he probably doesn't know what the friggin' heck he was talking about. Look, at the beginning of the season, loads of expectation, the money spent. We're Chelsea, we're expected to win the Premier League. But, reality check. It's good. We're a mid-table team now. It's good. Shut up! Sorry. If we want to go up, it's not only to play well, it's about being more tough with ourselves. True, we want to go to push ourselves, push the players. The players need to push themselves, and there is a massive assessment from the beginning of the season to today, and when the transfer window opens, we'll see what we can do. I'm not saying we need to ask for more players, or less players, as in, get rid of, I guess. But it's to see if the perception of matches... the perception matches the reality. If the expectation is here, as in high, and the reality is here, low, it's because we are missing something in the middle. Maybe we need to improve our reality. Hold on! Did I just get my second coaching badge? Because I too think we need to improve our reality. Jesus Christ, man. Look, I'm not having a dig at a guy, who speaks multiple languages and not speaking his first language, but I don't know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say, people thought we were good, we thought we could be good, turns out we're bad, and this is just, let's all just accept we're bad and try and be good. Injuries to captains Reece James, defender Cucurella, and goalkeeper Sanchez. Jesus, I forgot about Sanchez. James came off with another hamstring injury, Sanchez suffered a knee injury, and Petrovic came on. James only recently returned after 2 months out with a hamstring problem, and is set for more scans. His fitness issues are becoming a real concern for Chelsea. Of course, we saw Malo Gusto for this. Chelsea are confident they can spend more and stay within financial fair play rules, but may also look to sell Trevoh Chalobah and Ian Maatsen. Amidst all of this, Chelsea still have got the money spending paradox, and I don't know how they can do it, but somehow they can. They found the cheat code, how to spend money in the Premier League and not break any rules. For those of you mid-30s or around my age, they pressed up, down, left, right, A, B, C, and start on the controller, and then the cheat codes loaded up. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. They can spend money. Reece James, I said it before, said it again, send him off to a temple for 2 years, and he's not allowed to come back till he's 26 and just completely healed and ready to go and play 5 years at elite level for Chelsea. Malo Gusto and whoever can play in the meantime. Yeah, sad Chalobah Matson go, but they can go. I don't care anymore. And if Chelsea can spend, they can spend. Yeah, man, look, it's distasteful, it's gross, but maybe we just do need other players. Pochettino isn't on secure ground. Let's have it right. He isn't. People will be putting a magnifying glass over everything he does, and especially if he gets control over some transfers in the summer. If he gets a defender, a striker, and a midfielder of his choice, and they sell a couple of players he's not using, that's it, bro. You've played your FPL wild card in the middle of the season. Wow, what a great reference! I'm on fire today. You only get one, boy, and then you're done. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Do check out Surfshark, link top in the description. Can't speak English anymore, so the video is going to end now. Thanks for joining me. Take care of yourselves.